And we're live. What's up, LBL? We've got a banger of a game. The Piggies against the Crocs of THOC. Change the names.
Yeah, we should. While you're doing that, should be a good one. Jumping in kind of like towards the later stage of the draft. Today you got a couple of Dreams junglers, the old versus the new here. Solid Con and Less Force on the cast. Excited to watch these two teams. A couple of high elo junglers on the board tonight.
That's definitely true. Should be exciting. They're both kind of I just played against Zeph. They're both pretty aggressive junglers. Like to get active.
You were kind enough to deliver Twilight Zone at 3-0, whatever day that was, Friday. Sat there and got to watch that from the Airbnb, of course. Happy to be back whenever. I think our next game is Sunday. But yeah, I'm taking a look at these drafts. Picking up like on the blue side, THOC on the right. Kind of interesting that both jungles fell until second phase, and I mean, a full 5 bans out against Zeph, who ends up on the Trundle, which Dream and I found out while playing ranked the other day that Zeph has been spamming this Trundle jungle, which personally, I've been advocating for Trundle jungle. Maybe I should put this as an LBL competitor. I think Trundle jungle is really good in certain spots. I don't know if I love it blind, which is what Zeph did end up picking up here. It is answered by the fiddle. I don't exactly know how this matchup works. It's not what I would think of as a traditional counter, but I think if you have it set up from the Rel, the Syndra, I think fiddle could be really good here for you, Gragas IRL. And I'm not really sure how Trundle is going to outplay that, because he's kind of serving as like the main frontliner here for the highest crowds.
That is true, and I do believe. Oh no, they had a rope swap. Yeah, I don't know if I really like trying to listen in this game. It's not really like a big tank you're really stealing resources from. I mean, kind of just a rail, really.
Yeah, it is. I mean, definitely like sapping the Rel's stats will be good, but you're still ultimately just that single front line. You've got the yes, I'm getting plenty of updates about the stream feedback. Don't worry, guys. I let Jerry know. Other lanes here. You've got the Renekton Gnar matchup, one of those classic top lane matchups. Again, I could just be talking to the voices here. Maybe we're muted while the issues are getting fixed. We'll see on that. Ezreal Karma, Sivir Rel. Doesn't sound like a fun time for Piggies in a blanket whatsoever. Isbiz and Terry probably going to get awfully familiar with the turret this game. And Plutonium, B1 Syndra. What else is there? Some things never change. Oh, wait, and on the stream, I do not hear the feedback anymore.
Yep. I don't know why it keeps trying to swap over to roller mic. Every time.
Like I said, it was kind of not last minute stream put together. I was like, you know what? I got nothing going on tonight. There hasn't been a stream in a while. Let me message Dream and see if I'm allowed to run a stream. And then he said no, and then we brought you in, right? No, yeah. He said it was all right, but we were looking for a caster, and like personally, I prefer not running the stream, so it was like a win-win. So happy to fix the issues and hopefully get into game in a couple minutes here.
Actually.
Now I noticed you updated some playoff odds on the sheet here today, and this is a pretty massive matchup actually. I would say.
That's true. Gonna have some pretty big implications to your guys' group is pretty tight. There's not really, everybody's still kind of in it.
I mean, definitely, I'm pretty positive that my team Twilight Zone, like barring a catastrophic failure down the stretch, is locked. The Raccoon Banditos, I'm pretty sure, are like close to locked in because we have the head-to-head over them too. PBRE, they're like pretty solidly in there, and it's only the top 4 out of the group that make playoffs. So these two teams, along with the Mormon missionary team and Icepod Island, they're all kind of vying for what's. I mean, it's possible that another playoff spot opens up, but likely, like this could be like your only playoff spot, and so this is kind of in a sense maybe like an elimination style game, or at least you lose out on any type of like head-to-head tiebreaker situation.
But you do have an Anivia?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
So Clove going to take up a lot of damage. Flash in there from the Alistar, going to stun him up, try to donate the kill over. Shove is barely going to connect. Who is ending up picking up
Piggies,
this
they
one?
have
Poppy's running out here, but this Baron's going to be gone before you even have an opportunity.
It's
Just going to
also
pick up the Wolves.
pretty strong team.
And
so
they're going to have to try and fight Soul. I
not
think
gonna be
mid inhibitor.
not gonna be
Bot
easy.
lane, that wave is a Narnia, so
THOC
probably not going
also
to see
next
anybody
week has
moving down
the
there.
Raccoon Bandits.
Mid lane inhibitor has
They
fallen, and
definitely
probably
need
should
the-
continue pressure on
both
this
teams
top
need the
side,
wins
I
here.
would
Probably
imagine.
can get them.
They are going to be able to pick up the inhibitor,
exactly.
so slowly but surely.
Definitely
that
gonna be
mid wave,
big.
that bot wave will
You're
come
kind of in this middle part
Top
of the
now gonna get
season.
pressured next. Dragon is up in a minute.
Not
would
that
be
every match is a
Soul,
playoff
nearly
match, but again,
impossible to
you
deal
lose
with.
this one,
If you are triple
you
inhibitor,
pretty
with
much
the
have to
side
win
of
out,
Icepod
and like
Island
that's
will
probably
be,
win out in terms
but
of
they
like
might not even play for the Dragon,
games.
they
Like
might just play
you
to
probably can't even afford to really like split
I think
2-1
find
too
these,
often
like,
because it is a
Thought
points-based
on this, my
league.
friend. Baron
Gonna have backs up
down.
against the wall,
I'm just
so
shoving- I honestly think
we'll
even if they counter that
see
here, they could take the
what
fight.
these teams do here tonight.
Gonna use the Weaver's
I'm
Wall,
pretty
not gonna get
excited.
off onto
We
anything.
didn't really talk a
Alistar goes
whole
in, gets
lot
up on the
about
two
the
members.
drafts.
Ice
Talked a
has
lot about
immediate
Trundle.
flash
Again,
cleanse. They're
I went
trying
on
to
a
buy
bit
as
of a
much time as they
tangent.
can.
That is
Zeph
my bad
goes in
for
onto the
sure.
Cassandre. Zero Cola is the first to fall here.
But who are
Zeph
you feeling
is
here
in a
in game
1v4 on the
one? As I
backside,
think
but
the spectator
actually,
delay
the Narc has a
should
flash
be
out,
up here in just a
secretary.
second.
Zeph is on your prize here on the backside. There's nobody here to peel. Goes in with the R, is actually going to fall here in the
Piggies
end.
draft,
Alistar
honestly.
goes in, trying to get the damage off onto Silent, but they
Like they
can't
got,
go. Is super low, has to try
stuff
and
to
get out
jump
here.
in,
Massive flash
CC,
are there
and
coming out from Thigh High, is onto
put the
Porky,
damage
is
to back it
tanky,
up.
but is dropping here. Health bars are super
Killing.
low on the side of Thigh High, or on THOC, but it does not matter. Thigh High gets a double kill, make it a potential triple kill. Not gonna get
Yeah,
up the kills before this Nexus
I
goes down.
definitely
Game 1 to the side.
like
of
looking
THOC.
at the comps. I think it's like, and it's weird to say a comp with Fiddlesticks is easier to execute, but you've got the engage from Rel, you got the front line from Renekton, you've got CC from Syndra, and then you got a Fiddlesticks to kind of capitalize on all of that. Whereas like short of like a Talia wall into a Gnar massive ultimate, I'm not really sure how THOC really starts a fight, and that just sounds pretty tough to me. And so like in game 1, I probably would like default towards the team with the easier to execute comp. But as I've been saying an awful lot with Dream as of late, I don't know anything. So for sure, or well, maybe not in quite those clean of terms, but I don't know a whole lot, as there's actually a couple minutes on the spectator delay. Been a while since I've done the cast. The first time I was looking at it, I thought we were just about out of it. But I just got a couple minutes on that.
Yeah, just the more I see Gnar, the more I just don't like Gnar. I feel like in these kind of leagues in the lower elo, just the Gnar bars is just never managed well. Like, I don't think I've maybe seen out of like the 4 games of Gnar watching this league, we've seen like one good Gnar ult in a team fight.
Well, and it's K-Pack on Gnar too, right? Kind of one of the, I mean, on paper, kind of lower ranked top laners in the pool. And that's not to say that they can't play it well. That's just to say, they are on paper one of the lowest rated tops, and so that's kind of what we were talking about. So that's where my is going to be, because especially because they're going against Frosty, who I think is probably one of the better tops in the league for sure. Really excited to just watch the jungle matchup, because like I said, I didn't get to play against either of these junglers. When I played against Piggies in a Blanket, Joey went mid, and then Zeph again was the game that I had to be subbed out for, which really unfortunate. I hate getting subbed out, but the way the schedule's lined up, I was at an Airbnb 2 hours away and simply could not justify bringing the PC down with me. So, that being said, I'm curious to watch how both these guys do. Of course, I've got on THOC, I've got Papa Doge, a good friend of mine in the mid lane, so I'll be hopefully seeing how they're doing. They've been having a pretty good introductory split into the low budget league. Subbed in for Twilight Zone once and did like 80% of a Dream to Me Mel cosplay. And now we should be getting out of spectator delay, although sources say we're just going to get into a pause right away. So
Hopefully, pulls up first try.
taking a look at the Summoners crossboard grasp on the Gnar is interesting to me. Not something you see a ton of. I feel like you see a lot more of the fleet footwork style build. But I guess maybe you're just looking to play kind of that front line later on, just kind of get that bonus HP. First strike on the Syndra seems about right. Yeah, nothing else too interesting, I suppose. Lethal on the Trundle's a bit interesting, I think. Typically you're going like the PTA. Based on what I was seeing on the OPGG for Zeph, it's going to be like a Triforce and a Ravenous, so kind of playing more of like a carry style Trundle, whereas like a lot of the times in comp you're seeing it as like a front liney, you go like Triforce into like a Randuin's or something like that. So I guess he's going to try to win the game through himself, which certainly can work. As thankfully we are in a bit of a pause on the league games, that gives time to get the scene all set up, all that fun stuff.
A summoner has disconnected.
Now we can go their all chat. Say.
I'm gonna have to squint nice and close to try and read this. Yeah, I know you, Gragas IRL, and I'm Dyslexic are big fans of the all chat of the yapping, as looks like we're waiting for some reconnects to happen and then get onto the Rift for game number 1.
I think this is. Oh, wait. Papa Doge their usual.
Yeah, for THOC.
Oh, okay, yeah. This is their first time playing as all 5.
Although I heard it's gonna be short lived if it goes to
Yeah.
3 games.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, better late than never. What are we in week number 5? Rolling with the punches for sure, as we're just waiting for the game to unpause. Probably you're gonna get hit with the classic post pause, as it always does. Oh, maybe not this time.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's when it was sitting at 0. I think that was our pause.
Interesting. Nothing too exciting here happening early. We are going to see Zeph and Ugrax meeting here. Trundle going to get that early advantage. Going to be seeing a lot of that Zed ping or that Zed emote this game for sure. We'll see if Zeph's able to get any type of early vision. Prio just going to walk up and just get vision on that blue buff. There was the brief pause. K-Pack just going to get a little damage off. Early advantage to THOC.
I mean, Zeph can be a bit of a menace early game in the jungle, so curious to see if he'll just try to full clear or do something creative against the sticks.
Especially knowing that Joey is going to start up on this blue buff. We'll see it on that ward here in just a second. Could definitely look to go for some kind of like creative pathing on the Trundle. You know, not someone who, I mean, again, as the full clear jungler, there's nothing wrong with going for a full clear on Trundle. But you could go for something creative. You know, you could go for like a red blue Gromp type of gank, or you could look to invade early. For sure, different options for the Trundle here as we start out. Both junglers on the same side of the map, and early looks like they're just gonna go for the clear.
I don't imagine much will be happening bot. Probably gonna be looking like top, because I know Frosty likes to be a little bit aggressive.
And that's where it's interesting to me that both junglers are pathing towards this bot lane, because I definitely imagine that that Sivarel into this Ezreal Karma are just going to get poked out quite a bit, as we do see Frosty going in for a bit of an aggressive trade, but the extended play actually looking like it's going to go in favor of K-Pack. I just don't know how much of an opportunity there is to make a whole lot happen for this Fiddlesticks. I imagine Rel's going to get pretty chunked out under tower. You know, Ez Karma kind of hard to lock down. Trundle makes a little bit more sense, but again, you're kind of like the only form of CC, so, or I guess engage rather. You know, Karma can follow up with a W, but that's not really too much of a ganking tool. Right now, it looks like both junglers pretty much even on this clear. A little bit of trading bot, nothing too exciting.
Getting that early push, maybe get a Reb or Scuttle Prio for death.
Yeah, and the 80 carry gonna have to flash out there from the dismount by I'm Dyslexic. Early summoner blown here, and that could be something that Ezreal has to watch out for, as Fiddle is clearing down here. Could look to push the issue. Plutonium in the mid lane, gonna chunk out Papadosh, who has no mana. And now I guess I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm calling the Ezreal, because we've got Plutonium on one side, and my brain wants to say Plutonium.
It's like Pluxman.
Pluxman. That might be what we have to go with.
Or
the word Thigh High. That might be a little better. Fiddlesticks isn't gonna get spotted on this ward, and they're not gonna really waste their time. Zeph is already on this bot scuttle. Could see Zeph run up for a double scuttle potentially. But no, it would actually Fiddle cancel their recall, so they're not even gonna have the advantage on that top scuttle. Both gonna get resets off at about the same time, but Zeph going to be out on the map just a little bit quicker. I would say their buy is a little bit more impactful. Dangerously White gonna get the decent damage off onto the Sivir, and maybe back to a little bit of a lull.
Yep. I don't know if that flash, if Ezreal wasn't due yet, but he had E, so or got E.
Fiddlesticks looking like they're going for a gank up here top on the K-Pack. Not going to be able to get up on the W. He's going to flash in to get it off. Silence now coming through from you guys IRL into the fear. Do they have the damage to kill K-Pack? Yes, they do. First blood over to Frosty.
I think it was a little greedy from K-Pack. I think he just had to flash a bit earlier. At least make Ugragas burn the flash to CC down on him.
Yeah, definitely greeted, keeping the flash. Now has it for the next play, but unfortunately, Renekton able to pick up that first blood, able to crash in this wave. Probably going to lose a couple minions in the process, but this Renekton will be pretty strong coming off their reset here.
Zeph was able to get the top scuttle. A little bit in the jungle, but I don't want to give Frosty too many kills. Gonna run over that top.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to see, especially with that being kind of the counter pick into the Renekton. You don't want that to fall behind too far early. I mean, you can just kind of see this next laning phase gonna be rough for K-Pack. You know, you got the cloth armor and boots into a full phage on the other side. Gonna be a little rough, especially once Renekton's able to get that dominance. We do see Frosty just dash in there, but now we're back to bot lane.
do wonder if Zeph will go for Dragon, because it won't be 6 here, and Trundle's a bit stronger still. We'll fit a 6 at 6 at least.
Yeah,
Got
definitely
push
can take
bot.
that dragon relatively quickly too. You have the shove from your bot lane. I think it makes a lot of sense. Should actually be pretty close to level 6 off of the Drake as well, since they did get that double scuttle. We'll see if Zeph looks to force it. We do see Fiddlesticks looking to just go for a reset actually. They're just playing for farm. As Rel getting super chunked out under tower, and Zeph is on that dragon.
Got a couple minutes for grub, so where Ugragas is going. Dive top. Top button. Walk us up.
Yeah, interesting rush there by Ugragas going the Sork Shoes rush. Not really something you see like a ton in the jungle at the moment. But they're looking to force the issue. They're coming in here. They're gonna go on the Gnar, who has no rage bar. They are awfully chunked at about half HP. Renekton has to try to get this wave in here though to make this play happen. And now Trundle could be coming out here. Zeph coming in. We do see the dominance get popped there. Fiddlesticks going to take a tower shot. This is a little bit scuffed on the dive, and actually Frost's going to take up a couple tower shots there. It is going to be traded on the aggro there. Kill goes over to the Fiddlesticks, has to flash out with no health left. They are going to squeeze their way out 2-0 early here for Pigs in a Blanket.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate for K-Pack. Still has flash. I think that wasn't the best dive for Piggies there. K-Pack maybe could have. They just need to buy one more second. Probably get at least a trade kill.
Yeah, definitely. This time the kill goes over to the Fiddlesticks, able to get another reset off, get an amp tone. We could see Zeph look to aggress here into the enemy's jungle. As we do see Karma's up here as well. They could look to be prying on these grubs, and they already got the first dragon. Grubs for a team with Ezreal shoving in the bot side, a team with Gnar, always getting the side lane, and a Trundle. Could be really good, but we do see Karma and Trundle walking into this Fiddlesticks here. We see Zeph gets the pillar, not quite able to connect there onto Grass IRL. Fear is going to connect now. Karma is going to get themselves caught out here a bit. Rel dismount, not going to connect. Q, not going to connect. Flash over the wall there for the Karma into the stun from Plutonium. And now I see the Weaver's Wall coming in from Papa Doge. THOC are opting into this fight. Can they get anything going on their side? Trundle R gets popped onto the Renekton, and now Plutonium gets hit up by the pillar, by the side of the shot, and now a massive Fiddle R in onto the backside, and they're getting super chunked out here. Fiddlesticks picks up a kill. Rel picks up a kill. Rest of the carries have to try and get out. It's just the Karma and the Talia trying to work their way out here. Low health bars, but Frosty's looking to opt back into this play. Goes in, gets the kill onto the Karma, potentially pillar, or not pillar, the shove going to buy time for Papa Doge. Now we're back to the bot side where the 80 carries are just going to wail on each other. Not going to see how that top lane plays out. It looks like the Talia and the Karma are able to get out. Can't quite get the snipe there on the rock. Rel just going to hit up on these grubs with the Fiddlesticks. Massive place here for Piggies in a Blanket early.
Yeah, bit unfortunate for Zeph. Flashed not the best way. Wasn't able to get that kill. And yeah, the Leah isn't very strong without items, and K-Pack's a bit far behind. Unfortunately for them, they come out the loser of that play.
Yeah, really, really good start here for Piggies in a Blanket. Up, over 1,000 gold, able to get those grubs. Really nice denial there against the Trundle. They should be in a really good spot to fight this their first dragon, second dragon of the game. As now this Fiddlesticks is sitting on a nice early shutdown.
Yeah, THOC might just need to sit back a little bit. Maybe you need to, might be too late, but need to give a look top lane. Try to get the Gnar something back to get back in the game. Farming good though, but
Yeah, that's just where it's tough. This Renekton has that dominance, has the flash. So even if Trundle comes up, going to be a hard to execute gank for sure. On the farming department, Trundle is a decent bit up in terms of the camps over the Fiddlesticks, but the 4 KP to none means that Fiddlesticks is still ahead in the gold department. You can kind of see across the board things are feeling pretty good outside of the 80 carry roll, as Thigh High is slightly ahead of Izbiz, but I think given how everything else is going, you are big time chilling if you're this silver.
Yep. I don't think they're worried too much about the Ezreal getting gold. Pretty easily catch them out. They have.
Yeah, hard to dodge out from a Fiddle point and click CC. Rel taking a lot of damage here though from Thigh High. Has to be a little bit careful as Dragon is spawning up here in just about a minute.
Like they THOC's still gonna fight for it. They gonna take his back.
Yes, sitting on maybe and shouldn't have enough for Triforce. Will definitely have the components. Does have that sheen, working towards that fade. So not quite gonna be on that first item spike. Actually has all three of the components, but just gonna be a little bit short for this dragon. We do see Fiddlesticks invading on this top side by those Raptors. Might be looking for a little bit of a cheeky gank onto Papadosha in the mid lane. W not gonna connect. E is used there. Fiddle just gonna walk it out.
Looks like they're just gonna give Dragon. Looks like heading top side.
Maybe look for another dive onto K-Pack. We've seen it work before, although it was a little scuffed the first time. No rage bar. Wave is relatively big coming in under the tower. Frosty's going to have to clear this out nice and quick. We are seeing the Fiddlesticks looking to R in. Tanks the turret. Nothing that K-Pack can do. Killing spree here for you, Gragas IRL. And that's going to be multiple plates with these grubs going over to the side of Piggies in a Blanket in exchange for this second dragon for THOC.
It's top's not looking good now. Be getting a lot of gold.
Yeah,
also.
a lot of gold getting denied onto this Gnar too. So it's definitely looking a little rough. Zeph, to use a term that I used to dream a lot, is for sure putting the blinders on top lane. Just what's happened has happened up there, and there's not a whole lot that I think Trundle can do at this point to salvage it, at least on their own. It's going to take numbers, as Stun is going to connect here onto Papa Doge, into the Syndra abilities, into the flash in, looking to get the solo kill. Can they get the damage? Yes, they can! Plutonium with a solo bolo on their signature champ.
Yep. Hey, nobody can say Plutonium doesn't know Syndra. Plutonium knows them damage numbers. Papa Doge getting caught out. Getting hit by the stun.
Yeah. Again, Thigh High just continuing to whale these Ezreal Qs onto the spot lane. I do think Ezreal has been playing quite well, despite how everything else is going for the side of THOC. You know, up about 20 CS, has gotten a couple of turret plates here in the bot side. But you take a look as plates are about to expire across the map. You know, you're up about 2,000 gold on the side of Pigs in a Blanket. You've got the grubs. You are down 2 dragons, so you do need to look to make a play on this next dragon, I think. But that should be pretty easy. You bring down the Renekton, you have your Fiddlesticks at the objective, and it's looking pretty good.
Trundle's sitting bot. Looks like they're gonna try to dive. Rel should show up there soon, so we'll see how it goes.
It will be a 4-on-2 here. They're shoving this wave hard, and Zeph is going to run in aggressively, going to hit up on that Q. Looks to throw the pillar out now, and Plutonium, or Thigh High, I'm going to mix them up all night, goes in with the E aggressively. Nothing to do, but they're just going to deny this wave and try to push on the spot turret. But again, third time, I've seen this one before. K-Pack with no rage. Has full health, but they are getting ulted under the tower. The fear is going to connect there into the stun by the Renekton. Frosty just going to feast up here on the top side. Bot tower is going to fall here, and now the pillar into the Karma W is going to keep the root out, and despite the flash out from Isbis, they will eventually fall here over to Zeph, and now Terry has to run out, goes in, gets shredded here by the Trundle. Zeph having to walk out, takes a couple of tower shots, forces out the Rel flash. They do pick up that bot lane turret, though, and so despite all of that, I think first tower went over to red side here.
Actually doesn't.
Yeah,
say.
it looks like
Down the
so
thing.
because the
I think it went to red side,
yeah, it's because the feats. There's a feature still on the table because blue side got the first 2 kills, red side got the tower, and so whoever gets the 3 objectives, which currently would be in favor of the side of THOC, because only got the 3 grubs on the side of Piggies in a Blanket.
Yeah, it should be the Rift Herald's spawning.
Yeah, Rift Herald now on the map. We do see Trundle on that Triforce, has that Caulfield's in tow as well. Fiddlesticks still not sitting on a completed item here. What are they? What are they building? What? That is, I mean, those are the components for Leandri's, but then there's another 2
or doesn't
another 2
they
amp tomes in
build
there.
into the Blackfire torch? Oh no, that's the other
I think that's a lost chapter.
chapter.
I am not sure. I'm not sure what you Gragas IRL is doing here. But they are GM, so who am I to question? 5K on the Rift Trail. They're looking to just force this out here. They're looking to put up the Weaver's Wall and try to burst it out here. Trundle gonna get the kill there, and blue team is gonna go in with the Fiddle Arc, going to steal the Rift Herald, and this fight looks like it's gonna go all the way of THOC. Double flash out from the Rift Herald pit, and now Thigh High has to go with the E over the wall. Stun not gonna connect there from Plutonium, and now Frosty dashes in with the E, has nothing there, but they got the steal, and that's actually a flash in from Papa Doge, gets the flick back, but there's nothing else after the fact. Thigh High trying to get the damage off with the Ezreal, but end of the day, that is a Rift Herald picked up for the side of Piggies in a Blanket. 3 flashes and a dead Trundle flash in from Frosty onto Thigh High, who does not have the flash, or has to flash away rather. Papa Doge not here trying to peel as best they can. Karma gets the shielding off. Will it be enough? There is no turret. I don't see how they get out of this one. Plutonium's able to pick up that kill. Karma and Talia are low. They do not have a ton of health, and Fiddlesticks might just feast on both of them. We do see the shove going to stop the sucking from Fiddlesticks. Not going to be able to pick up the kills, but 9-1 goes your kill count. About 4K on that goal difference.
Yeah, it was potentially fightable, but they opted to just flash out and give up on the fight. And the flick did hit, but they missed both their Qs on them, so didn't end up picking it up. And then, kind of unfortunately for THOC, I think did that give them the feats? No, not yet. So I guess.
No,
Guess they're
this
still
next
in it.
objective will be
Dragon,
this will be the feats, and you have to assume that Pigs in a Blanket are prioing this. They are up in a really tremendous spot. Karma has to run out here, gets a little bit of poke off onto this Rel. Taking a look at your summoners across the board, not a whole lot of flashes on either side except for the Gnar, stacking up that rage on the dragon, and we do see Zeph. They are actually in the prio position to take this dragon, and it doesn't seem like Pigs in a Blanket feel super confident about walking in here, and this dragon will just go down to the side of THOC. So despite being down a mass amount of gold, they are going to be able to pick up those feats of warfare.
Yeah, the Piggies in the Blanket didn't have all their ults. Renekton had no ult. Philosix didn't get his ult until about halfway through, so they just weren't really able to get in there. No Saber ult, I don't think either.
Yeah.
THOC was able to kind of get away with getting the feat there.
Rift Herald gets spawned up here in the mid lane. We have all 5 members of both teams kind of lurking around. This is an 18-minute ARAM here, and Fiddlesticks might be looking to R over the wall once again. Rift Herald is going to not crash. Zeph using those mechanics on the Trundle, one of the best skill shots in the game, most skill expressive. I'll die on that hill, and that means that Rift Herald gets a whole lot of nothing.
I bet Piggies didn't even know that was possible. I guarantee it. Didn't even know that was a thing.
Everyone thinks of the Bard ult. No one thinks of the Trundle Pillar.
Yep.
As
I didn't even
Papa
know they did that.
Doge runs into a wild Renekton in their jungle. Not gonna amount to too much. I'm surprised Frosty didn't try to do anything there.
Yeah. I guess he's. No, he didn't really have anything to buy. Yeah. He's playing safe. All good. Protecting that shutdown gold.
Yeah, talking about shutdowns, there are a lot of them on the side of Piggies in a Blanket. The Renekton, the Fiddlesticks, the Syndra. A lot of ways back into the game here for the side of THOC. Which, if you're on red side here, what are you looking to do here?
Looking to pick up those shutdowns. Just trying to pick people on the side lane, like kind of what they're trying to do now. That's about all you can do. You got a good advantage on dragons, so you can stall out the game. Make sure your carrier's able to pick up your items. Try to get Gnar back in, get his items. Yeah. They got the 3 Triforces now. Trifecta.
Yeah, the trifecta of Triforces. I definitely think you're in that game state where you can give up a dragon if it means you're able to crack like this mid turret, or you can like make a push on the top lane, get gold back in your pockets, and try to get into a more even game state. Because as of right now, the 5v5 looks pretty cooked for THOC, as Atacon is going to spawn up here. As Plutonium is actually just potentially going to delete this Gnar. Has to be careful here. Will die to an ultimate, I think. With that Luden's Companion and what I think is a Shadow Flame in the works here for Plutonium.
I guess it's the Otacon now that Piggies will have run over.
Now, of course, there is no greater way to throw a game in the year 2025 than by trying to do an Atacon while ahead. Again, Atacon is the epitome of you fight before the Atacon, and then Atacon's the reward. You should not look to flip and just start the objective, in my opinion, of course. As Frosty's going to go in here, find something 1v2. Trundle's going to use the ult, hits the pillar. Do they get this kill? This will be a massive shutdown, and they are going to be able to give it over to Zeph. Massive amount of gold infusion there, and that could be the pick that they look to start this this Atacon for. We do see Talia is only about half HP. We'll see what their call is. Actually Thigh High gets caught out here, has to look to go over a wall with the E, but they are down to below half HP, and barrier gets used.
Yeah, we'd like to see them give that to Talia. Make sure Talia can get a little bit of gold. Zeph was sitting kind of fine, but it was a good pick. Exactly what they needed to do. I just need to get the Fiddlesticks out. They'll be okay. Close up the gap.
Yeah, slowly working their way down the scoreboard here as Fiddlesticks R's in onto 2 members. The bot lane will crumble. Rampage here for you guys IRL. Flash forced out by Thigh High, but it does not matter. Died to the Leandru's burn, and that should be the Atacon for Piggies in a Blanket.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they were trying to get some... THOC was trying to get some vision. The bot lane was trying to get some vision while mid and jungle were backing, and top. Just getting picked out. Good pick out from Gragas there. Securing the Otacon for Piggies.
Showing a little bit of proficiency on this Fiddlesticks. Weaver's Wall going to be used just for vision here. Not going to look to ride it. It is down to about 3,000 HP. Papa Doge is walking up here. I don't like their chances here. Blue team gonna pick that up, but Rel gets here with the fear into the Q, into the force out the flash. I don't know if Papa Doge is anywhere to go here. Gets silenced up. Fiddlesticks should be having their abilities coming back off CD shortly, but they're actually gonna be able to walk out here despite that. And maybe this is a bit of a long con trying to distract this Fiddlesticks as Soul is spawned up here on the bot side. It is that Chemtech Soul, and now Rel and Fiddlesticks are walking up here. Is only just getting started up, so they're not going to be able to force this up before Fiddlesticks is here. They now have to find their way to navigate this team fight, as we do see Papa Doge teleporting back in. They are teleporting towards the bot lane. Rel Q not going to connect. Thigh High trying to get out the poke they can. 7,000 on this dragon. Fiddlesticks is chunking it down nice and quickly. Rocks get put down. Plutonium goes in with that flash up here. I've seen this one before. Thigh High gets deleted. Flash in from Frosty onto this Gnar. Takes a lot of damage though. And now K-Pack is going in. Gets a good knock up against the wall. Gets 2 members here. But it is just the Rel. It's just the Fiddle. Red side goes in with the flash. Gets a steal onto the Soul. You guys are now dominating though. And Zeph is now by themselves on the wrong side of the rift. All that is left is your Talia and your Karma trying to get the damage off onto the Silver. Barrier gets forced out here by Papa Doge on the Izbiz. And now they're running into the members of Piggies in a Blanket. This extended fight is going to go the way of PIB. Grags IRL is godlike. They lose the soul, but they win the fight.
Oh, it's such a close fight. Such a close fight. Zeph 1 auto away from getting the kill, and then a little unfortunate for Papa Doge flicking them into them. Not the best one, but doing a lot of damage out.
Yeah, talking about damage, Plutonium.
Yeah, Plutonium had a great start to that fight, getting the double stun. Pretty sure one-shotting High there.
I for sure had some PTSD to Crab Rave versus PK. That exact same spot, a double stun on Prize and Gapic. I've seen that one before. Plutonium knows how to execute in that little alcove right there.
Yep. They were looking to try to get the damage on the backline there, but did they know that they were the ones in trouble?
Now, all that being said, Zeph able to outsmite you guys IRL. So despite the gold, being about 7k in favor of Pigs in a Blanket, that Soul's going to do an awful lot to kind of mitigate that advantage. It's still definitely a gold advantage to PIB, but you can't take away the Soul, and that does mean the Elder is now on the table. And so if this game goes another 5 minutes and they're able to kind of force, a bit of a flip at the Elder buff, could be disaster for blue side.
Yeah, I mean, probably would have been better in this case to just give the dragon and stall the Elder a little bit more, but I guess we'll see if Zeph's able to steal it. Then could be a big play. I have to see that they're strong enough at that point.
Yeah, might not even have time to get there though. We could see blue side look to just force on this Baron again. They are way stronger than red side. Resets coming out here for Zeph and for Thigh High. Do blue side know this is coming out? It does not look like it. And with that vision set up at the Baron, they are going to clear it out. could potentially see a bit of a sneak, but seems a little unlikely.
Yeah. They don't do the quickest right now. There are only 2 items.
Mhm.
A little bit of time.
So Rel gonna have to dismount to get out of there. Taking a look at your items across the board, you see Talia on 2 items. Ezreal now sitting on that Miramana there on 2 items. Nar still working towards their second component here as Fiddlesticks R's in. No play to make. Magnustorm connects. Karma will be the first to fall. Zeph is tanky, but they are going to have to run this one out. And that is a big pick and a big force out from 2 other members. And now they are booking it towards this Baron.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's kind of where not really having the tank or front line is hurting them. Not much they can do. Karma shield is just not enough to save everybody when the field 6 ult. So somebody's dropping.
Yeah, that's the downside to not picking a tank. You know, no one ever loves being put on that Sejuani duty. No one loves being put on that Ornn, but sometimes you just gotta suck it up for the team. As a Baron going to be sucked up here by this Fiddlesticks for Piggies in a Blanket.
See what they get with it. Definitely a bot tower. Oh.
A little bit of Sixth Sense here coming out from Plutonium. Pillar is going to connect, and Zeph is just deleted under the tower. Did not respect that Cinder damage.
Yeah, definitely kind of a desperate force there. Just trying to get something, but unfortunately, you know, Baron backs. They're going to get back quick enough no matter what. Zeph just got deleted. Not very
Zeph
tanky
indeed.
at all.
Now has that, the double null magic mantle, but did go this more, carry oriented build. So still not super tanky here. Elder going to be up here in a minute 30, short of a desperation flip. What's the angle here for THOC?
Pretty much that. Just try to not lose the game right now. Give up what you can. Just try to flip it at Elder.
Fiddlesticks ults in, forcing out the flash from Talia. Good knockback, so they will survive, but this bot tier 2 will not. Gold lead up to about 10,000 here, as we got just a little over a minute for this Elder.
Yep. It's just gonna be the Elder flip and bring everybody to Elder flip and open pray. All you can do.
Yeah. Taking a look on blue side, Fiddlesticks sitting on 3 items and components. This Renekton is super strong. This Syndra, super obnoxious to deal with at this point. And it doesn't really matter that Sivir's behind, because Sivir, and they're not even behind. They're ahead of the Ezreal, but just kind of relative to everyone else, they are not super strong. But you're a Sivir, you press R, you set up your Fiddlesticks, you set up your Rel, and you smile as everyone dies. Stun gonna connect here onto Thigh High, gonna take a third of their HP just like that.
Get 20 seconds spawn, and Piggy's gonna have full control over the vision here, so it's gonna be very hard for THOC to walk in, especially with the Syndra and caught out.
And now Silk can be getting caught out. Papa Doge caught out on the side wave, trying to push. You cannot do that into this Fiddlesticks, into this Renekton. Papa Doge on the wrong side of the rift. They will go down. Sivir finally getting their first piece of kill this game, and the Elder is spawned, and I don't see a way that THOC can walk in here.
Yeah, they're just gonna have to try to brute force it and hope, because otherwise, kind of losing slowly. But you see Plutonium already sitting in the bush and just looking for anybody. Could be Karma.
Zeph walking up towards this top side. They're throwing out the True Shot Barrage, the Miracle Steal, but no, they're not even gonna look to try to get the steal here, and it is gonna be slain there by blue side. Plutonium will delete either of these squishy members if a stun connects. We could just look to kill this Karma here. Stun is going to connect despite the flash. Rel goes in, and deleting this Karma is Plutonium, who is now godlike 7-0-6. And this could just be the end of game number 1 here.
Yeah, it's looking likely. At least, probably the one bright side for THOC is that Gragas and Plutonium losing their main champs.
True, and Plutonium losing their secondary on the Karma, as mid tier 3 is gonna fall. Frosty goes in 1v4, likes their odds there, and now the flash in from everybody on the side of Piggies in a Blanket. Legendary goes Plutonium, and Zeph dies to the Sivir. All that is left is K-Pack and Thigh High, but this damage is not gonna be enough to stop this 5-man unit on the side of Piggies in a Blanket. They are gonna march towards these Nexus towers. Ult in from the Fiddlesticks. We see the Trundle has disconnected. Karma is back up 5-on-3. Fiddlesticks is low. These towers are falling. And despite the best effort here from THOC, trying to get the damage off on to the Syndra, Ezreal cannot get the kill. Gets the fade away. And that is game number 1 to blue side. Piggies in a blanket.
It's just tragedy all around. A lot of those kills they just weren't able to pick up, and kind of weren't able to get enough gold to stay in the game.
Yeah, I mean, early game felt like things were very much in a solid spot for the side of THOC, but it just kind of came down to that one play by the Rift Herald where Fiddlesticks is able to get in for the steal. They're able to win the fight super hard after the fact, and then they give up that third dragon, but they're still able to pick up. I think they got like a kill and a turret in the process, and so they end up with kind of this massive gold lead, and there was really kind of no looking back at that point.
Yeah.
As Terry is pointing out massive 2,500 damage on the rel. Truly just a marvel of a performance coming out from I'm Dyslexic.
I know for Terry, the real one they want to check is the vision score.
True. To a fault. Terry will chase that vision score as THOC are not wasting a lot of time here. They're going to stick on the same side. They're saying it was not a side selection issue. It was potentially a comp issue, potentially a gameplay issue. And if you're on the side of THOC, what adaptations are you looking to make here?
Probably have a more defined front line than Gnar/Trundle. Maybe a little bit more aggressive pick for Zeph. I know his Bel'Veth was kind of insane, at least when I went against it. So maybe something like that, a little more prio than Trundle in the jungle. Now I gotta go against Fiddlesticks and Syndra now, so that's already a plus for them.
Yeah, a lot of stuff off of the table. Again, and that is, honestly, when I think of plutonium, I think of the Syndra, I think of and then it's like a big gap after that. You got the Karma, you got the Talia. Could still look to go those, as again, it's only the winners that have their champs off the table in the LBL. But I definitely think it's a tier down off that Syndra.
For sure. Believe plutonium next is something like Talia Galio. Just a bit of a different feel, at least for the Syndra.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be surprised if you see like a Kindred Galio come out for blue side. I wouldn't be surprised if you see like a Bel'Veth Galio come out for red side. I think both these mid laners are perfectly capable of kind of playing that supportive style for their jungler, as they are kind of the carries, quote unquote, for their respective teams. I wouldn't be shocked at all if we see that prio. We didn't see. I know Frosty's got a lot of these AP bruisers up in the top side. Could go like the Mordekaiser, could go the Rumble, could go like even like the Gwen, Cassante. A lot of things up there, and we'll see what they look to do here as we're back into a draft here for game number 2.
Yep. Imagine we kind of missed the first draft. I imagine they should probably throw all their bans against Zeph, the Piggies. Maybe they banned the Bel'Veth. Maybe that was
So there. I've got I had the draft pulled up, and they took a a page out of the Twilight Zone playbook. They did 3-ban Zeph, the Pantheon, the Volley, the Kayn. And then second phase they banned out the Jarvan and Zenzao. So they threw everything at Zeph, whereas it was Zed, Vi, Jinx for the side of THOC that were banned out, which makes a lot of sense. I believe Izbiz is like by far a Jinx one trick, and we see it banned again here in game number 2. The Vi, again, super strong jungler in the meta at the moment. And yeah, it looks like nothing's really changing here.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they did it the first game, but THOC is supposed to have an extra ban. Not sure how much an extra ban would have mattered that much, but
I
they
see.
use it.
Yeah, I mean, you got the advantage. Why not use it? Ziggs currently gonna be the hover. Could be a flex between mid 80 carry. And it is a takeaway from Papa Doge, one of their better champions, and that is gonna be the pickup.
I don't think I've ever seen Plutonium play it, so I'm gonna lean more that's going bot lane, but it's not that hard of a champ to really play.
No, you
Good
throw
though.
out some cues. It just kind of plays it for yourself. That could tell me, maybe if that is going 80 carry, could see something like that Galio for a Kindred hyper carry jungler.
Yeah, you're right.
That could be interesting. Kaisa going to be the early pickup here for Thigh High, and we'll see what they look to pair with it. Last time they saved jungle pick for pretty late in the draft. I'm curious if they look to go that route again. Because again, Zeph is probably on paper your best player. Definitely makes a lot of sense to save their pick, even if traditionally it makes more sense to save jungle pick for or use jungle pick early in the draft.
Yeah, it just depends if they want there's something Zeph really wants to play. Uh, but yeah, I'd imagine, especially going against Ugragas, you don't want to get something counter pick or have a big impact on the game.
Yeah, it's gonna be that Rakan pickup, blind support. A lot of things that you can look to punish that with. Pick your litter of the engage options, and it looks like it's gonna be the Nautilus, being the pairing for what I'm assuming is this bot side. Again, the Ziggs could go mid lane. Might have to get a little bit of the information here because if you're not, I don't think you can pick the Kindred here, and you probably can't blind your top laner. So you probably are either going to a different jungler or you're looking to go your mid lane here. Curious what the answer is going to be from Pigs in a Blanket. Clock winding down, and they are going to prio that Galio. So something is up for for you, Gragas IRL.
Hopefully, THOC reads the Kindred, because if they're banning Kindred, I think they're. I don't know what else Ugragas will play that would be much of a hyper carry like Kindred. So the
Kha'Zix is an interesting hover,
hope not.
and it's gonna be locked in. Not a fan of the champ.
Yeah, definitely not into Nautilus Galio. Um,
I mean,
we'll see.
I'd have to agree.
I guess it
Maybe.
can beat Kindred, but they're thinking that they're just gonna leave it up.
Yeah, you'd have to assume that they can kind of see the writing on the wall here. They pick a
Yeah.
Ziggs, they pick a Galio. There's only so many, carry AP junglers that could come out here. And they're gonna ban out the Aatrox, they're gonna ban out the Jax.
Confident. Zeph is confident.
Yeah, they're confident that they can deal with it. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that Joey could go here in the jungle, but it just kind of makes too much sense to go that Kindred route.
I know Joey plays Viego too. Uh, I think for ADS about it probably.
Yeah. Gonna see the Mordekaiser blind here for K-Pack potentially. Now, what scares me about that is Frosty could go something like the Mordekaiser that absolutely wrecks these tanks top lane. Could see Frosty go what else? I mean the Darius. They need AD. That would make a lot of sense to me. Really, I feel like Frosty loves playing into these, tanky top laners because then they can just kind of beat them up in lane and just make life tough.
Yep. Rossi's got Mordekaiser, Gwen.
It's gonna be the Graves.
I know Joey play it, but it's it's decent in the Kazakhs.
Yeah, I definitely think Kindred is, the synergy's a little better with the Kindred than it is the Galio, but maybe you just aren't thinking that this is a good spot for the Kindred, and it's going to be the Yone hover in that top lane for Frosty, and that's going to be locked in.
Rossi thought the Galio Ziggs, another AP would have been too much. Which I can agree. Graves not really gonna able to put out the most consistent 80 damage to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely now they got actually a pretty decent comp.
Yeah. Rounding out the comp for THOC, though, it's going to be Papadoge hovering that Syndra. Going to switch over to the Cassiopeia. I think that looks like a pretty good pick into what Piggies in a Blanket have concocted here. And that's going to wrap up your game 2 draft here. Off the cuff reactions. What are we thinking here?
A little unfortunate for Zeph because I don't think Zeph is going to have any prio to do mid and top to do much. Zeph decides to invade. Maybe bot be an angle, but I'm pretty sure Zeph picked Kha'Zix to invade and get a little active.
Yeah, you don't pick Kha'Zix to full clear. That is for sure. And you kind of don't pick Graves either to full clear. It should be a very interesting early game here, I think, for both these junglers. This could be one of those games that's over in 5 minutes or at the 5-minute mark. I could see either of these junglers kind of just getting to steamroll over the game. But I do think it's gonna be a little hard for Zeph because you're into this Galio, you're into this Nautilus, these very tanky members. It's a little hard to just kind of ignore them, especially in like a team fight setting. And that's where it's got to be hard to navigate, these assassin-y picks in competitive. And I'll just say it, I sure as hell hope we do not see Bruiser Kha'Zix come out. Otherwise, why did we pick Kha'Zix? That'll be. I'll reserve that question to see if it comes up.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it like they don't have any other early game chance besides Kha'Zix really, so they have no prio. We can also look at it like if Kha'Zix gets ahead, Kha'Zix early, Kha'Zix can be the bridge to help his team get to late game.
Yeah,
They got a good late game, but
they do.
Just got to get there.
And that is the key. This Ornn gonna be getting awfully comfortable with their tower. Hopefully, it goes a little better than it did game 1, where the Fiddlesticks Renekton made life a living hell for K-Pac. Hopefully, Papa Doge able to punish this Galio. Again, had plenty of time to come up with a counter pick into the things that PIB were showing, and they landed on this Cassiopeia, which I do think makes a lot of sense into this Galio, into this Graves, into this Nautilus. Should be able to pump out the damage, but like you're saying, it's gonna take some time and not a whole lot of prio, really in any lane, for Zeph to go for these invades. So it's gonna have to be, they're gonna be calculated.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna go any different for K-Pac. I'm pretty sure the Piggies are gonna bully K-Pac in the top lane. We'll see if Zeph can say something about it now, though. But how it looked, it looks like they're gonna probably maybe even roam up Nautilus. I think they skills better.
I think so too. I think both these junglers are gonna have a hard time if they don't get off the ground early. I think maybe Graves will have a slightly better time if they're not able to accelerate. But really, they both kind of want to have good early games and kind of snowball nice and early. They both kind of want to do the same thing, invade the other. So could see some interesting map movement here between these two high elo junglers. We got just a couple minutes on the spectator delay.
Nope. Yeah, well, I wonder if Zeph will go for the early ward again. I mean, the first game, Zeph just took Raptors and then invaded, took my whole blue side.
Mm-hmm.
Try to do it again.
Yeah. I think when I look at these two junglers, when I think of Graves, if they're gonna look for an invade, it's gonna be kind of that one camp invade. Maybe it's like a Raptor into invade other side or a red into other side. Whereas Kha'Zix, I think you want to get that level 3, clear one side of your camp or one side of your jungle, and then just immediately pivot to the other side. Whichever side you think Graves is not going to start. So there is a lot of value in getting that early war or Zeph. Yeah, it should be interesting here early. Whereas elsewhere, I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of too early. Galio's going to taunt Cassiopeia and do nothing. Ziggs is going to chuck some bombs. Could see some 3v3 fighting bot side potentially, but seems kind of unlikely to me. I think it's just going to be all about this map movement between these two junglers, and then if Galio can really kind of enable this Graves in particular.
Here's what I'm dyslexic. We'll do the roam around some more. I don't imagine they'll be able to do a whole lot bot. I think roaming around with the Graves could be a pretty decent angle. It's just clear
Yeah, I
waves
think
bot.
so. I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, Ziggs should be able to just kind of throw out the bombs, be under no pressure whatsoever. Make plays to enable this Graves. Again, kind of your carry player on the side of Piggies in a blanket. Again, it's not quite a playoff series, but both these teams desperately need all of these wins. That's funny, I mean, last season there was the team, desperate for a win, yet here we are, got two teams, really desperate for a win here, especially THOC. They would probably love to equalize this out and then make it a game, best of series. Whereas if they lose this one, they're probably feeling the pressure pretty strongly.
Yeah, they need THOC needs at least one game here. THOC doesn't get one game, it's not looking great.
Mm-hmm.
I know I said they play Raccoon Bandits next week. Pretty tough matchup. Well, their last week's against the A1, who's the right now the has the most wins. So strength of schedule isn't looking great right now.
No, and we do see taking a look at these runes. I'm a little scared. I don't exactly know what Kha'Zix is going these days, but the Conqueror does somewhat indicate to me that they're looking to play more, kind of bruisery extended plays. I will hopefully that's just like what Kha'Zix are going. We'll have to see on that as game number 2 is starting up here between Pigs in a Blanket and THOC. We do see the 5-man unit, although Kaisa, we got ourselves a little pause. Kaisa noticing they didn't buy items, so any invade attempt immediately thwarted on red side. And now we've got a 5-man unit walking into the enemy red side. Gonna get down some early vision against Zeph. Will there be a counter answer here? This is scary. This is
I
close.
see each other.
Frosty might get caught out here on the wraparound. Gets spotted out, does pop a doge. They know that they are here. And so Raptor Ward gets put down. Zeph likely to put down a blue ward in response, but actually, okay, there it is. So they will spot where, if UGRXRL starts this top side.
Yep. Likewise, they should be able to spot if Zeph starts top as well. The ward should last. Zeph is going for Raptors at least.
Mm-hmm.
But won't tell them much information after that, because last one.
Yep.
Won't know where Zeph goes after that for a game conveyed or.
Yeah, definitely think my eyes are, I'm eagerly waiting for, minute and change from now. I want to see where Zeph is heading on this Kha'Zix. We are going to see them both start their top sides. So there will be opportunity for action here, whether it's in that enemy red quadrant or if it's going to be at this scuttle at 3:30. As Laney Face starts up here, and Rakan just going to eat the Nautilus. Passive damage connects there. Terry not going to connect onto that Nautilus hook, but the extended trade seems to be going in favor of the Ziggs Nautilus.
Yeah. I had taken a lot of damage there. But just trying to get that early push in and getting a level 2, getting a little bit of a trade back. Try to equalize the health.
Yep. Meanwhile, we see K-Pack getting shoved in here. Nothing I would expect anything different here. Gets a little grass proc off though. And now we see this Kazakhs just heading towards their blue quadrant. So it doesn't look like they're looking to invade here.
Nope. Like they're gonna go full clear.
Hook gonna connect here by Terry. W gonna connect there from the recon, but not a whole lot of damage after the fact. And again, right now, health bars in favor of blue side.
Yep.
Papa Doge gonna get hit up here by the taunt. Gonna take a little bit of damage. Galio, of course, really fun champ. I've heard by my dear mid laner, a dream. Very big fan. Won't play it though. A little strange.
I don't know if Papa Doge's mana bar will last.
No.
Galio dies, unfortunately. Some stuff could be happening bot.
Hook gonna connect here onto the Kaisa. Immediate W out here for Recon with thigh high, gets super low, flashing from Terry, gonna pick up that first blood, and now Graves is here as well. There's nowhere for this Recon to go, has no W, might have to flash out, does use the flash there, not gonna have the hook there on the Nautilus, but that is first blood over to Piggies in a blanket.
Yep. Not looking at Zeph's coming.
Hook there connects, W not going to land, and Zeph is now laying in things. Maybe looking to get a catch out here. It is a 2-on-1 though. I don't like your odds, Zeph. Gonna get connected here. Has to run away. You guys are all doing a lot of damage onto the Kazakhs. Leap out. Graves could look to pick up the kill with a flash. Not gonna be able to go for it, but that's again gonna get Prio onto this scuttle. Potentially a double scuttle here once again.
Yeah, Zeph with the balls of steel there. I personally would have never went for that, but Zeph just sussing out if there was anything to be had there. Kind of scary.
Yeah, and now Graves just gonna walk up towards this top side. Last game we saw, I believe it was Trundle get the double scuttle. This time it's gonna be the Graves getting it. So early advantage over to you, Gragas IRL.
Yep. Fortunately, Kazakhs does not win the full clear battle. So, although Graves did skip Krug, so Zeph does have that.
Yeah, could maybe look to see a little bit of a scrimmage. Just K-Pack taking a lot of damage up here on the top side. Frosty going to try to pick up the solo kill. Doesn't have the Q3 in tow. Not be able to pick up the kill. W in from Dangerously White. Going to dash right back out. Hook not going to land here. And we do see Zeph here on this gank onto Frosty. It is kind of an isolated play here as Frosty goes in with a dash. Leap out, forcing out the flash of the Kazakhs. Followed through by the Yone. First blood, or not first blood, but a 1-for-1 rather. As Yone picks up the solo kill and Ornn got the kill back in response. Big play there for Frosty.
I guess still a winning play technically for THOC because they got the kill and the assist, but you definitely don't want to give Yone any kind of gold.
Now we see you guys are all lurking up here towards this top side. Gonna force out the E. Flashing in is Graves. Gonna force out the flash of the Ornn. Hook there connects onto thigh high dash in there from Recon. We're gonna see this trading pattern an awful lot this game. Q gonna heal up there. Kaisa just a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, this probably wasn't the game for Kaisa into Zig. You just kind of get outranged. Probably definitely need a little bit more range and block.
Hook now connects onto the Recon. Dash out there with the E. Does have another E for a little bit of shielding, but looks like Dragon just gonna get started up here by THOC.
Yep. Looks like they should be able to get it. So I mean, they've had good Dragon control. Even though this game they don't have their bot isn't having the push like they did last game.
Yeah, early dragons are the name of the game right now. It looks like it will be picked up here by the Recon, but now we see a fight on the bot side. W gonna connect there onto I'm Dyslexic, gets the Rudolph onto the Recon. It is gonna be a 3v4. Taunt gonna connect here onto the Kazakhs, despite the leap actually gonna get them out here. I'm not sure how they didn't connect there. Nautilus is going in deep. Galliard coming in over the top. Recon going to get interrupted here, and that's going to be the Feast of Warfare. Eventually over to the side of Piggies in a blanket. The question is, are there any more kills to come out here? We're now back to the top side. A little bit of trading up here. Ornn uses the W. Going to get the Bro proc off. Has to be careful, and it looks like nothing else happens bot side.
Yeah, I definitely didn't think that Kazakh's jump was going to get out of that, but able to but Recon was trying to get in there. If things happen with the Galliot coming in, not much else for Khan can do, only level 4. Papa Doge definitely isn't strong enough to fight. Flashing out.
Has to flash out, still gets connected there by the taunt. Doesn't have a whole lot of damage here, actually has a whole lot of 0 damage. this perma or all all mana build so far on this cast, and Galio is big chilling with that as Grub's gonna be your next objective in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, unfortunately, you've already pretty much past the point where this Kha'Zix is kind of useless. And this is pretty much the point where you would probably rather just had something else other than Kha'Zix.
Yeah, hate to say it, but the early game has not gone super well here for Zeph. Trying to get that level 6, get that first upgrade on the table. I believe it's still a Q max on that Kha'Zix. But we'll see if they even look to try and contest these grubs as Nautilus is here. Rakan is not. I just don't see a play that it looks good for THOC as Ornn kind of a little bit of a tough spot with their wave. But should be okay as Nautilus and Graves are working on those grubs.
Yep. If just gonna be zoning out on bot. Get back, good dodge.
Maybe a gank attempt here coming out onto Frosty by Zeph, and they see it. The Ornhorn comes out here. Reinforcements are here. Yone R gets used, going to dodge away from the knockup, and now the Q3 going to get them out. Zeph is on the wrong side of the rift, going to try and trade a kill in response. Not going to be able to pick it up. Frosty gets that kill, and Pavadoge is here, but it's too little, too late. 4-1 in favor of Pigs in a Blanket.
Yeah, kind of like we talked about earlier. Ornn, Cassiopeia can't really help much for the Kha'Zix when Kha'Zix wants to be aggressive early, and especially when the Piggies brought up their support, and they moved their THOC moved their bot up to mid, and they just getting free play spot. Then unfortunate.
Yeah, really good early game here for Piggies in a Blanket. A little bit different than last time where we saw the early gold advantage was on the side of THOC. Plutonium not going to look to stick around here too hard. But yeah, 1.5K gold lead here, just about 10 minutes into the game. Yeah, I need this Kha'Zix. You knew they were on the grubs, so it's just a little bit aggressive of a play for sure. A little bit of damage off onto this Nautilus, who's big chillin'.
Yep.
Good interrupt there by Dangerously White, but gonna get the double taunt off. Nautilus walks up, getting a little passive off just for fun. The quickness does get used there by the Rakan, gets onto both members, but there's not really enough damage to kill these tanky members. Or I say that, and THIHI kind of wailing on Plutonium a little bit. Hook gonna connect here onto the Rakan, and now gets hit up by the tower. Graves, or Galio rather, gonna pick up that kill. Exhaust gets used. 5-1 goes your kill count.
Yeah, unfortunately those Kaisa items are not pumping out a lot of damage against those two beefcakes.
Next objective. Oh, good.
It was a decent play from Rakan though. I mean, good combo, good CC, but yeah, just fortunately not enough damage.
And just got stuck under the tower at the end of it. So it does lead to that kill. 5-1 gives you kill count. And we do see Dragon is up in about 50 seconds. I believe that you guys IRL going to be sitting on that first item. See if they get the reset off. I believe that's a Ghost Blade. Again, usually not my first item. Not something I build a ton of. But it is that first item Ghost Blade, whereas Kha'Zix not quite going to be there. We'll see if they even try to contest this Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit late, but they definitely need to THOC just needs to slow down the game.
Yeah, actually, Rakan maybe caught out on the wrong side of the rift, has no W, gonna take so much damage. The R gonna get used there by Frosty, little bit of a solo kill, and now THIHI stuck between a rock and a hard place, gets hit up there by the Nautilus R into the taunt, into the knockup by Plutonium, into so much chain CC, has to use the Kaisa R to get away. They will survive, but you'll cost their barrier and it costs their ult.
Yeah, yeah, I said they need to slow down. They just need to really just try to slow it down.
I mean, you have this Ornn, you have this cash, you have this scaling, but it's not going to do you a thing if you don't let it get there. Zeph is here trying to maybe sneak in for this Dragon. There's no play to make. Dragon will go over to the side of Piggies in a Blanket, and that Ocean Drake, one of the most important, I would say, like in terms of the single Drakes, just that little bit of sustain for your laners, make life a little easier for the Yone, make it easier for the Galio. I think this is a really, really good start here for blue side.
Yep. Sure, they didn't even have a losing lane. So I mean, mid and bot are decently close. They just need to wait till Cassiopeia gets a couple items.
Galio gonna get interrupted here. Quickness does get used, does have the flash taunt, gonna be used up there. Hits up on multiple members. Now the Rakan stuck in a tough spot. Nautilus getting multiple CC off. Kha'Zix is here, and we do see Zeph now having to try and run this one out. Disconnect up on the top side, but they are in an active fight, so they cannot look to pause. We do see Papa Doge is now here. Rakan does connect there just onto the Graves. So much damage comes through, forcing out the flash from Thigh High, and now Zeph goes back in, forcing out the flash back out, and Graves is one tap. Can they get the kill here? Galio gets in with the flash, with the taunt. That is a kill onto Zeph, and we do see Graves go down. Flash out from the Rakan. Papa Doge now in a 1-on-3, gets it up there. Ziggs picks up that kill, and now Thigh High trying to do what they can over the wall, forcing out the flash. Is not connected on Izbiz. 2 for 1 goes that play.
Again, just so close. Great ult from Papa Doge, but Thigh High's ult just wasn't up quite yet, so now he would have get in the fight, and Papa Doge only on that Roa, not really at the strongest point. If he had another half item, or if Thigh High had ult, probably could have changed the way that fight went.
Yeah, it was close, but no cigar for THOC. As these plates are looking to expire, you do see it is about a 2.5k gold lead. You know, maybe a little less. No, actually, yeah, it's right about 3k in favor of Piggies in a Blanket. They've got that dragon. They've got those grubs. Feeling really good if you're blue side here, and a little tough if you are on that red side.
Yep, looks like you guys looking for something top. Could get that's walking down.
Ghostblade gets popped. They don't get the CC onto K-Pack here. So maybe look to crash out this wave and maybe take a little bit of attacks. And now maybe they're looking for a dive here. R gets used up onto the Ornn, taking a lot of damage here. Horn gets used, trying to get out as best they can. They do actually interrupt the Graves, who takes multiple tower shots. K-Pack with the outplay under the tower. 2 for 1. What is that?
Here we go. That's what you like to see. Good flash, good counter dive, getting the 1 for 2. I mean, definitely a little aggressive. Ornn wasn't low or anything, and you know, Ornn has flash up, so a little of aggressive dive. Graves only having the Ghostblade, isn't, you know, one-shotting anybody right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit different than the than the Fiddlesticks Renekton dive.
Yep.
Goes in favor of THOC. Ultimately 2 for 1. Steal away this blue buff, this gold lead. Still sitting about 2,500 as we do see Plutonium going in. This really isn't going to amount to anything, but Direct to Cam loves to show it.
The something.
And now the quickness under the tower. Rakan awfully aggressive here. Now you guys are finds Zeph in a 1-on-1. Has to get out. Does Zeph have the leap? Gonna dodge away from the hook. Good sidestep there. Not going to fall. Somehow Rakan got out.
Yeah, they were trying to get aggressive while the 2 were down. Look for Rift, and they're still looking.
Yeah, they are looking. Hook now connects. Nautilus up by themselves, though they may fall. Can they get the damage off in the end? Ornn gonna try and go in. Fade away. W from Thigh High. Gonna pick up that kill, and that is a shutdown over to this Kaisa. This gold lead slowly starting to shrink, and we do see Plutonium is roaming up. Does have the ultimate. Does not have a teleport. Rift Herald is started up here. Horn at about 75% here. Not sure it's going to be up. Thigh High is super low here, though, and the dash in. Galio R does now get used here. Not going to be able to get out is the Rakan. Zeph has to dash away, and now that means that Rift Herald should just go over to Piggies in a Blanket.
Papa Doge is there with all, but yep, they just need to wait for Papa Doge coming, fortunately. Maybe could have fought. Like he should get the Rift Herald.
And now Galio maybe looking to aggress on Cass. Not going to opt into it. A Rift Herald picked up by blue side. Now K-Pack gets hit up by the Yone R. No way out of this. Unstoppable. Gonna barely get out with a sliver of HP. And that is that double cloth armor differential.
Rift mid. Might go down.
Yeah.
That goes up soon, though.
Yeah, I said it once earlier. I don't know shit. As Ornn does escape mid tower, not gonna fall, but it gets awfully close as your dragon is now up there on that bot side. It is going to be an Infernal Dragon, which seems really, really bad into this Graves. And mid tower did fall in that process.
Yep. Should be able to get the dragon too, but THOC should be just chill out. Okay with giving the dragon only second. Stall out, let Cassiopeia get 2 items, let your Kaisa get 2 items. We're gonna start getting those upgrades in.
Yep, probably around that next dragon, you'll start to see those ornaments coming online. You know, you hope maybe get one onto your carry teammates. Probably that Kaisa at the moment, maybe the Cassiopeia. Will certainly have their own upgrade at that point. As Atacon gonna be the next objective pinged out, and looks like it's spawning on the bot side here. I think I'm doing my mini map game. Think that's the side. Yeah. But Papa Doge maybe getting caught out here. You guys are all popping that Ghost Blade 1-on-3 for this Cassiopeia. Not loving their odds here. Galio goes in, gets the double ult onto the tanks, flashes out, but it's not going to be enough as the fadeaway ultimate onto this cast by the Graves. And now we see a play in the top side and the mid side. Zev trying to kill Frosty here. Gets a lot of damage off, but will it be enough to finish the kill? Ornhorn gets used here. Flash in from Zev. Going to pick up the kill. And now in the mid lane, we don't see the kill come through, but both summoners did get used there by the Rakan.
Yeah,
1-for-1 overall across the map.
Yeah, pretty good kill for Zeph up there. I didn't think they had the isolation damage there. I didn't think it would be enough, but able to get it done, and good trade when your mid's dropping down the bot side. K-Pack.
Now you guys walking
Trouble.
in, going to fight one-on-one with K-Pack. I doubted them before. I won't doubt them here again. Gonna fight to the death. It may be to the death. Q gonna get sidestepped, not full damage. You guys are out now on a killing spree on this Graves.
Unfortunately, got hit by a little bit too much by the Q and the collector. Able to come in. It was close. One more W might have been it.
Would have been close.
I think at least THOC still showing some signs of life. I mean, the last team fight was still fairly close. The Galio just kind of being the turning point there. So I really think, I mean, once some items come in, it could be a little bit different. You know, the Cassiopeia is still not in the best spot, but
Try to work towards that Seraph's. Kha'Zix, Zeph on that 2 items has that opportunity in tow. Kaisa working towards 2 items, but the Ziggs quietly already sitting on that Luden's Seraph's combination. And maybe going to see Frosty get caught out here by Zeph. Going to find themselves in another 1-on-2, but they are opting in with the ultimate. Gets the Q3 onto 2 members. Flashes in, not going to get the kill onto Zeph, and it's going to be eventually picked up there by Thigh High. Almost a sick out play. But now on this bot side, we see the Galio and Nautilus pushing up and Ziggs in this mid lane.
You send for top. Even your other lane's empty. Look for mid Nauticom. They could have just went straight for Otacon. A little bit late, but if they able to get it quick enough. Top should drop to Ornn though. Look at that.
You know, looks like they're a little indecisive on what they want to do here, opting for old reliable, sit in the bush and wait. You got the Nautilus, you got the Galio, hunting for their prey, and that prey might be dangerously white here. Walks into the E, into the taunt, into the hook, into the grave. Killed there by Graves, and that could be Atacon started up here.
Yep. Definitely should be. They're just gonna try something funny, but shouldn't. Kind of hard. Although they didn't ward it out. Although Terry missed both. Oh no, I think he got one.
Yep. Atacon down to about 3,000 HP here. No real contest from the side of THOC. Kha'Zix in a bit of an odd spot here. Gonna get spotted out here eventually by you guys IRL. Now we're going to the panning to it, and this could be a good shutdown here, forcing out the flash. You guys are all over the wall. Kha'Zix though gets outplayed, forcing out the flash, and now not with the is that a question mark in chat after the fact? Just insult to injury.
Yeah, that was just a collector diff, I guess. Kaz got the jump and everything. Just wasn't able to pick it up one Q away maybe, but jungle dies, top dies, Zodcon too. Kind of quickly getting out of hand. Another tower. Kind of quickly snowballing.
Yeah, gold lead up to about 4,500 in favor of Piggies in a Blanket. Dragon is going to be up here in 15 seconds. With no Ornn ultimate, I don't really see a way that the red side look to contest this, which means that we'll put PIB on soul point.
Yeah, Really should just be overloading the top side at this point. There's nothing to be had down here.
Yeah. Zeph gonna get spotted out here. Gonna go in with the E, not in range for the taunt. Dragon just gonna be started up here and just gonna be taken by blue side.
Still uncontested. Still got a couple minutes to Baron, so unless Frosty gets caught out, probably in a little bit of a full state. Unless they want to shove mid.
They're paying out onto this midway where Rakan and Kaisa, or Cass and Rakan rather, are booking it out of there.
Fortunately, with Galio kind of getting a bit of gold, Cass kind of needs 3 items at this point.
Zeph gonna dodge away from that hook, but again, this extended fight, I feel like it's just so heavily in the favor of Pigs in a Blanket. Gonna walk out though, so no fight to be had.
For the mid tower. Forcing.
Flash in there by Rakan. Now we've got a full-blown fight. Bounties are on the table. Rakan gonna be the first to fall here. Tower close to falling. Thigh High is stuck on the wrong side of the rift. They're gonna fall. Rakan or Yone goes in, gets up onto Papa Doge. Massive ultimate, gonna buy a lot of time here. But the flash in from Galio into the taunt, gonna connect there just onto nobody. A little bit of a sidestep. K-Pack will eventually fall here as everyone is going in on that plutonium. Gonna take up a lot of damage from this Galio and wins the one-on-one, likely against this assassin. Taunt gonna connect into the passive, into the kill. Papa Doge, last one left standing against you, Greg Cyril. Gonna pick up that kill. That is an ace. 5-0 in favor of Piggies in a Blanket.
Yeah. I think Khan went in thinking that the tower is gonna get one shot, but then they stopped hitting the tower, so the tower still standing, was just hitting the whole time. And the Piggies were able to get there in time. Now Dangerously in trouble.
Dangerously is in a pretty bad spot. Uses W to get away, but they are running towards the enemy base. I don't see how they get out of this one. They're setting up some vision for the Baron, I suppose, and they are just going to get left up. So
Yeah. Was able to get that infernal little soul on the ground, a little speed boost, get out. But yeah, now you're now that you've got Baron spawn, this could be a Baron end to pretty much end at this point. I don't think there's much THOC can do.
yeah, it is definitely looking pretty good here for blue side and pretty rough on red side. You do see those ornaments starting to come through here. We have the Randuin's upgraded by the Ornn. Our level 14s, they do have an ultimate available, and the quickness gets used there by Rakan immediately onto the Zig, so has to disengage. Again, on the wrong side of the map, dashes away to Kha'Zix, so they will get out, but that is a big C to use, and now Thigh High has to run away. Plutonium is here. Zev trying to get the aggressive play, but just going to get a little bit of damage off onto you guys IRL. Papa Doge pushing up on that top side. Hook going to connect there. What is that by Terry? And now it's a 5-on-4 here as Cass is not around, does have the teleport, but it looks like they're just going to try and push on this top side. They don't want to fight. Teleport now gets used. Dash out from Kha'Zix away from the Yone ultimate. Big play there. That's a big cooldown and might just be a little bit of as Kha'Zix has found themselves in the enemy nexus, and they're just pinging off onto this Baron. Rakan runs away. Kaisa runs away. Graves going to ping back towards this Baron, and they're just going to go over, and with Zeph running out onto the map, this might just be a free objective for Piggies in a Blanket. Zeph is booking it. It's down to 7,000, 6,000. Zeph going to have to look for a 50-50. Taunt is not there. 3K on this Baron, and they're not going to be able to get in. It will just be picked up by the side of Piggies in a Blanket. Zeph goes down. Thigh High will go down eventually. Maybe not. K-Pack might die for their sins. Gets to about a third HP, and this Ornn is tanky. Will eventually get out somehow. Time and time again, this guy gets out with this sliver of HP.
Maybe not.
But the flash in from UKS IRL will eventually pick it up. Legendary on this Graves. And now it is 3 members versus 5 as this mid inhibitor is already down. Papa is going to try and do the damage that they can. They're getting a decent amount off onto this Graves. But this Galio is here. Hook there, going to connect. Rakan gets a solo kill on the Rakan. In air quotes, Papados trying to damage the Scalio. Towers have fallen. Nexus will be the next to fall, and despite Papados trying to do what they can, they are going to have their KDA affected here just a little bit potentially. Yes, they are going to fall just before this Nexus falls, and that is 2-0 in favor of Piggies in a Blanket.
That's big for them. Bit unfortunate. I think it's a little bit of a draft if the Kazakhs and Kaiser really weren't able to do much early. They just weren't able to hold on till late, get the gold on the late game champs. And,
And this Graves just kind of ran over, that early to mid game, got quite a lead. Was a real threat to deal with. There was that 1v1 that was almost close, where Zeph had kind of lurked in by the Crocs, but picked up the solo kill in the 1-on-1. And I guess we will see if there is a game 3. I know if there is a game 3 that there will be a sub, I believe, on the side of THOC, and we will just wait and see what happens.
unlikely. Okay. Okay, yeah, there is no game 3.
Yeah.
That is a FF from THOC. We're gonna have to sub out there anyway. So the Piggies take the series 3-0. Big for them.
Yeah, really big heading into this home stretch of the season. Getting that 3-0 matters an awful lot towards that 4 seed. Gonna be that much harder to make playoffs if you are THOC, but Pigs in a Blanket find themselves in a pretty good spot. Having to contest against the Mormon missionaries. Not sure if they have faced off yet this season. I don't believe so. Let me check the schedule here real quick out of curiosity. And it maybe the script writes itself. Week 7 LDS versus PIB could potentially be for
It's
that
week
fourth
7.
playoff spot.
Yeah, last week. Dude, LDS is playing. They're playing the PBR Enjoyers. That's a tough matchup. And they're playing you guys, Twilight Zone. That's another tough matchup. So
It
we'll
sure
see.
is.
It could be we'll see if they stay in it. But right now it's looking like a pretty solid top 4. Solar group.
Yeah, it is looking awfully competitive here in this group, and really in both groups, to be honest. I think right now A1 and Saving Private Gray, they're playing their series at the moment. Not sure how that one's going, but a couple of good teams over in that group.
They are currently 1-1, so on their 3rd game.
Ooh.
Spectatable. Maybe not though. How far they're in.
Pulling up. Looks like they're like, I don't know, 12.
Yeah, 15 minutes in. Not.
Strange. Might just be something with like the tournament codes or something where
Yeah.
can't do it after the fact. They're awfully funky sometimes, but I do think Germ might be streaming the game. So people could always go tune in directly that way once they're done here. Yeah, I don't know. Are we looking to do a little interview with Piggies in a Blanket?
We could. Yeah. Sure.
I mean, it's your show, your call.
Which one of them want to hop in? I imagine it'll be Joey or somebody.
Hopefully, he does more talking on the interview than he does during his casting.
That's true. Sometimes he gets a little shy. She kind of locks up a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Go.
Whoa.
Scary.
And
It's me.
We've got the vision support king. I'm dyslexic. Support Piggies in a blanket joining us. Apparently a demon. You want to contest those allegations?
There'll be no contesting.
No contesting. Just gonna own up to it.
Listen. I tripled my damage in the last game, so I think that qualifies as demon status. I did a whole 7,000. Backpack champion of the league.
Yeah.
Pretty dominant series. Guys, how are you guys feeling coming into it? Feeling pretty confident?
Honestly, pretty good. So we missed our mid laner for like the last two weeks against some pretty good teams. And that did impact us a little bit, but to be honest, like we came into this one, we felt like we had a really good game plan. We're just gonna play weak side bot, because they have a pretty good bot lane, and we could exploit the top, and like that's really pretty much what happened. Draft went exactly how we expected. The game plan went exactly how we expected. I feel like it's a really good spot for us to play like a really strong jungle carry with the way that I play Vision. And we couldn't really do that with our sub. So
Right. Especially with that grass guy going mid. Can't do as much mid as he can in jungle.
yeah, I mean he's pretty trash on the mid lane, if I'm
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, I think Plutonium might be better.
Record indicates that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We for those of you that have not heard them talk, we do have you Gregis IRL jumping on to the cast as well. Maybe muted, maybe just a little stage fright. I know it's been an occurrence before.
I ain't frightened, boy.
And not frightened. Okay. Just waiting for the right moment. I see that's my mistake for sure. We heard a little bit from
Don't let it happen
Terry.
again.
How are you feeling?
Perfect, bro. Locked in.
Locked in.
Yeah.
Keeping it simple.
Yep. You know how to put a massive jungle class on. Made that guy look like he was bronze. Masters player, by the way. Ain't what he used to be. What can I say? Terry 1v9-0 with the roams. If I don't have Terry with me, I'm never getting fed. So that's my boo. That's my boo.
What'd you think of that Kazakh's pick?
Honestly, I can see a vision. I was thinking Kazakhs too into that team, and then he picked it. Obviously, it's harder to play.
Kindred, right?
Yeah, I didn't want to play Kindred because I feel like I'm just gonna get ratioed one shot. Graves, has armor, right? With tabbies, he's actually pretty tanky. So I'm figuring, you know what, it's probably doable. And we still wanted some like DPS because we had Ziggs, right? So I feel like we wanted like a DPS kind of juggler. Really Kindred at that, but I just made a decision for Graves here, and it seemed to work out pretty well.
Did?
Yeah, definitely had some close calls. There was that one play by the Crocs where I think he got caught a little off guard into the one-on-one, but just the fadeaway kill with the collector was the difference maker. And then there was kind of no looking back on that Graves.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? I mean, if you play like a bug, you're gonna look for a cheese kill. If you don't get it, what are you, right? I just swat you with a fly swatter. That's it. That's it. And he learned. He never came back in. Like a mosquito.
So-
You just like fucking slap that shit.
Well, it's like, you're playing like the snowball and champs, right? Like you kind of have to try to make those plays happen, right? Otherwise, you
Of
kind
course, I mean, I can. All jokes aside, I mean, when you're kind of like suffering on every lane, you're kind of forced to make decisions. You're forced to make like that hero play to get into the game. It was really close, obviously. I mean, it could have been really good turnaround events. I think I was worth a decent amount of gold too if he got that shut down. Was I like worth 1,000 maybe? I'm not sure, but
yeah. So taking a look at your guys' team, I think with this win that puts you in a pretty solid spot for fourth place. Depending on what happens in the PBR Masters Mormon Missionaries game. Again, right now it's looking like it's really a four team race for that fourth spot. How are you guys feeling coming in that home stretch?
I'll let Terry take this one first, and I'll answer after him.
They can fight over fourth place. We'll take third.
Oh,
I mean, well said. I mean, I look at it like this, right? We 3-0'd PBR Enjoyers, which was somehow, but they're a really good team. I have no doubts that they'll beat Mastermore Missionaries because they did beat what was it, rank 1 team right now, Twilight Zone, or is it Raccoon and Banditos? I don't know which one it is. But regardless of the fact, I have no worries about that at all. We're definitely taking top 4.
No doubt taking top 4, which is all you need to make playoffs. Yeah, I don't know exactly how the tiebreakers work because we 3-0'd Raccoon Bandito, so I would assume we're the one. But there has been a lot of like teams taking games off everyone because, like you said, we did lose to PBR,
Yeah.
who you guys beat, and so it's kind of this little game of it's this little circle.
Yeah, well,
Circle of suck.
You could play strengths, the weaknesses. Some people just do better than other people's teams. That's really how it goes.
Mm-hmm. So sounds like morale is pretty high in the Piggies in a blanket camp.
Yeah.
I was
I got,
told. Oh, good.
One more thing. I mean, I think we're probably rank 1 team with Plutonium 98 back. Local library fell down on the sub. Clearly, he didn't have what it takes to be a jungler. I had to sub back in for that as well. Clearly see it. That's it for me though.
I was told to say that you're not allowed out of this interview without talking about having your mama bird back, quote unquote. Do you have anything specifically to that specific verbiage? Sounds like you're already giving giving props, but
yeah, I mean, you got to say that who's a good boy, and I am a good boy, and then I get my kill from mid lane because it's free setup. It's a trade off.
Makes sense to me. I don't really have a ton of other questions.
How you guys feeling about your next matchup? Saving Private Gray, pretty tough team, I think.
Yeah, we just scrimmed them, and we got 3-0-3 the other night by them. So
I mean, that's gonna be another master jungler.
We'll come up with a plan
there. So another
yeah,
pretty good bot.
Oh no, I'm sorry, no, we won 2-1. We took 1 game off them.
Those are okay.
Yeah, we did take one game off them. Definitely a pretty good team. Pretty scary. I do believe though, in the first 2 games that they did play, it was swapped around though. They had their Masters players on mid lane, but when I finally got to play against some jungle, he went 11-9. I went 15-6 on Kindred. It was no sweat. So if he actually plays in the jungle where he belongs, it's an easy 3-0.
Oh,
probably.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good covering the bases with the probably there at the end. Yeah. So no, it sounds like you guys are pretty confident. Doesn't sound like we've got a whole lot else for you. You guys wrapped up the stream nice and early, which is nice. No game 3.
Yeah,
I don't know, any final thoughts from either of you?
I'm excited to play against you guys with our full lineup.
True. It'll should be fun come playoffs. Will be a good time. Anything from you, Mr. Slossie?
Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Drink when you can. Yeah.
I believe in the Bush Wookiees return.
They got a little bit of a hill to climb, but it's still mathematically possible. We saw Arctic Wave got in on a 0% chance last season, so who knows what can happen.
1% dream return, I believe.
You do it.
Wait, what week are we in right now?
5.
And there's 7, right?
Yes.
And then it's playoffs. Okay.
Got 2 more. You
Cool.
guys got 2 more series to play.
Which is against Gray, and then I think we play Master
against Irez.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be subbed out. That kid, he sucks. I'll sub him out.
Yeah. So with that, I think we are just about done here for today. Unless you got anything else, Jerry.
I